Hello everybody. Happy Sunday. Meteorologist Hunter Forst here. I hope everybody has been enjoying their weekend. It's been really nice so far. Yesterday was a beautiful day. Today not too bad. It's a little bit cool outside in the mid to upper 50s. We should get into the mid to lower 60s later on today, but the big story is tomorrow, Monday. We have the potential to see some strong to severe storms rolling on in, a level 3 and 4 out of 5 risk for severe weather, which getting that high is pretty rare around here. It doesn't happen super often. So tomorrow's definitely a day where you want to make sure you have a plan in place to make sure you know where to go in case a warning is issued for your area, whether that's a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning. Both of those on the table for tomorrow. And then after that, heading into Monday night into Tuesday, the weather gets much better, cooler, much cooler, because a cold front will be rolling on in. That's kind of like the catalyst for some of these storms. But we'll be in the upper 40s by Tuesday and Wednesday. And then we start to see a warm up by the end of the week. But let's talk about what we can expect heading into the day tomorrow. We do have a weather impact alert in place the afternoon into the evening, even could push that even into the late morning tomorrow through the afternoon and evening. Now, it's not going to be raining and storming all day. We're going to be seeing breaks throughout the day. So you want to keep that in mind. We're going to see kind of like rounds late morning into the early afternoon, first round, and then we'll see a break for a couple of hours, and then we'll see the actual cold front pushing on in, bringing us another round of strong to severe storms that could bring us some very strong gusty winds and a few isolated tornadoes as well. That first round, again, a few isolated tornadoes possible and some gusty winds with that. Here's a look at the swath of this system. I mean, what we can see in terms of severe weather. It's not just us here in Hampton Roads. It is a good chunk of the East Coast, extending from New York down through Pennsylvania, D.C., Richmond, here in Norfolk, Raleigh, South Carolina, Georgia, and North Florida as well. But that red area, you'll notice, is a level 4 out of 5. And some of us here in Hampton Roads are under that level 4 risk. And that even extends up through Richmond and into Washington, D.C. as well. So here's a look at the level 3 and 4 risk. The 3 is here in the orange. So Elizabeth City, Edenton, Norfolk, Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, Hampton, up into the eastern shore, all under a level 3 risk for some severe storms. So could see numerous storms. The red is a little bit more widespread. That tornado risk is a little bit higher as well, but anywhere on the map has the potential to see an isolated tornado or two. Now, does this mean everyone is going to be seeing a severe storm? Not necessarily. Some of us could see 2 severe storms, some of us could see 1, some of us could see 0, but the threat to see 1 is pretty high and the storms could be very strong. So that's why, again, we have the weather impact alert. That's why you should kind of take this a little bit more seriously than, average thunderstorms that roll on through, because this doesn't happen very often around here, especially this level 4 threat in red. So this includes Farmville, South Boston, down through Raleigh, Richmond, Tappahannock, and up into Washington, D.C. as well. I could show you there that extends all the way even up into parts of Maryland, Baltimore included in that level 3, and even a good chunk of Pennsylvania under a level 3 threat for some severe weather. So again, gusty winds, damaging winds, isolated tornadoes. The tornadoes, again, could be strong, especially here in the darkest red color. So this is the tornado potential. This is issued by the Storm Prediction Center. Normally, for us here in Hampton Roads, we kind of stick around the 2 to 5% range whenever we get some severe weather. Mostly 2, sometimes up to 5, but for us here, we're at a 10 to 15% chance of a tornado. So if you put a dot on the map, you have a 15% chance of seeing a tornado within that dot within 25 miles. So it's a pretty, high risk to see the potential for a tornado. Does that mean everyone in the colors are going to see one? No, definitely not. But it's just a day that you have to stay tuned to the forecast. Make sure you know where to go if a tornado warning is issued for your area. And then you'll notice those colors, a little bit further off to the west here, the orange and the lighter yellow. That's a 2 to 5% chance, and then it gets greater the further east you go, and then it gets a little bit less, but still where you have to be aware closer to the coast. That's a 10% chance. Not up to 30, not up to 45, not up to 60. That would be, more like a tornado outbreak, which is what you see out towards, the Midwest, Tornado Alley, down into the south. But still, for this part of the country, this is pretty significant. So you want to take it pretty seriously heading into the day tomorrow. But again, not everybody will see a tornado warning, but there is a good chance that a few will be issued in our area. We also have the potential to see some really strong gusty winds. This is the greatest risk for us. I would say risk-wise, it would be strong damaging winds, some isolated tornadoes. Hail is a bit of a lesser risk, and flooding's not really a risk at all for us. But best potential to see some super strong winds would be in this really dark blue color. That's up to a 60%, and then a 45% chance in the darker blues here. So all of us here at Hampton Roads in eastern North Carolina has a good shot of seeing some really strong gusty winds, 60, 70 plus miles an hour. So, if you have any loose items out there, outside, today would be a great day to kind of secure them down just in case you do get really strong gusty winds. And again, this extends all the way up into DC, Maryland, down through North Carolina, and into South Carolina as well. Here's a closer look. Williamsburg, Tappahannock, Emporia, Franklin, Ahoskie, really on the cusp or in that 60% chance of seeing some super strong winds. And then Norfolk, Hampton, Elizabeth City, Eatonton, Virginia Beach, down around that 30 or 45% chance, 60% in the darker blue. And then let's take a look at the hail potential. You'll notice it's more on the lower end of the scale. Here, this lighter purple, around 5% chance, and even not a whole lot, or 0% chance around the eastern shore, and very close to the coast around Virginia Beach. So again, hail, not the greatest threat. Could see some in some storms, but the greatest threat would be down around Charlotte and Raleigh, where you could see some bigger hail, 1.5 to 2 inches in diameter. Not really expecting that in our area, but there is a chance we could see certainly some hail up to a 1/2 inch to 1 inch for us here in Hampton Roads. It's all coming from this storm system well off to our west. There's a low pressure system that's growing stronger and stronger up around Illinois, Iowa, and bringing a lot of snow to Wisconsin, parts of Michigan. They could see a couple of feet of snow, 2 to 3 plus feet of snow in that area. Right now, there aren't many warnings. There's one in Iowa right now, a severe thunderstorm warning, but that is about it. We're going to continue to see, the back end of the system, or this cold front, continuing to push off to the east, and the storms are going to continue to grow stronger through the day in this area. This isn't the cold front here. This is kind of ahead of the front, and then you have the cold front more off towards this area. And ahead of it, just one severe thunderstorm warning. But again, it's a very dynamic storm. You're seeing a lot of severe weather, or will be seeing a lot of severe weather down to the south, but then off towards the north, a blizzard, because it's just going to be windy as well, even if you're not seeing any severe thunderstorms or any storms at all. Just this system itself is going to be making it super, super windy. Gusts tomorrow here around 30 to 40 miles an hour, even if it's not raining. Because at some points it won't be. We'll be having a few breaks as we go through the morning and afternoon. But when we aren't having those breaks, we'll be seeing some thunderstorms and likely severe weather as well. But for us here right now, things aren't looking bad. It's a mostly clear day, comfortable outside. But here's again a look at the severe threats for tomorrow. Biggest threat, damaging winds, 50 to 70 plus miles an hour. Hail, not a big threat, but that potential is there for some of us to see some hail in some of these storms. Then also tornadoes are possible as well. And the best potential to see these tornadoes are in that level 4 threat, and they could be strong as well, up to an EF2 or maybe even greater. So I'll go back to the red spots here. That's where you have the highest chance of seeing, a tornado or even a stronger tornado at that. Still the potential though, if you are in orange, could still see a tornado warning issued for your area. Just that chance isn't as big, but still there for the day tomorrow. You want to keep that in mind. But again, I'll go back to the threats there. Damaging winds, tornadoes on the table, hail on the table, but not as big as of a threat. And then flooding, not really a big concern for us. These storms are going to be moving by rather quickly. It's not going to be downpouring all day. So, the streets will have time to kind of clear away of some of that heavy rain that falls during these thunderstorms. As we take a look at the futurecast heading through this afternoon, it's not looking bad, mid to low 60s. Could see an isolated sprinkle. I think most of us will be fine. And then we're going to see a warm front moving on in. And this could bring us some showers, maybe a thunderstorm. We are under actually a level 1 threat for tonight in our southern spots, Roanoke Rapids, Murfreesboro, Hertford. For a severe storm, I think most of us should be fine. But there's the potential to hear a rumble of thunder or two heading into later tonight. That starts to clear. A few showers, maybe a few storms overnight as well as we get into Monday morning. That clears out. And then heading into the late morning and early afternoon, we're going to see more showers and storms pushing on in. You got to take the futurecast kind of with a grain of salt. It's not going to turn out exactly like this, but it gives you a good idea on timing and what to expect. So for your morning commute, things should be fine. It's really late morning, early afternoon. That's when we could see a round of storms coming on in. Could some of these be supercell-like? They certainly could be. Supercell is a rotating thunderstorm. So that's where you could get, these tornadoes forming, get a tornado warning issued for your area. And then we're going to be seeing another break. So, 2, 3, 4 o'clock, things aren't looking too bad. But by about 5, we're going to see the actual cold front starting to come on in. And let's see here. This is where we could really see some really strong winds embedded in this line of thunderstorms. So this is 5:30, pushing to the east of the 95 corridor. Could even get some embedded spin within this line of storms as well. So could see a few, maybe a tornado warning or two in this line of storms that comes in heading into our Monday evening. Those would be called a QLCS tornado, quasi-linear convective system. They're normally a bit weaker, compared to supercell tornadoes. Not really as long-lasting, but they can spin up very, very quickly. So, if you're home from work at 5 o'clock, you kind of just want to turn on the news. We'll be keeping you updated and want to see, if any tornado warnings or severe thunderstorm warnings are issued as this system or as this line of storms is coming on in. So that rolls in 5, 6, 7. And then by 8, 9 o'clock, the weather does start to improve storm-wise, but much cooler temperatures are going to be coming on in. We're going to be down into the 40s for highs on Tuesday and Wednesday. So it's a pretty potent cold front, very strong. Here's a look at the tornado terminology in terms of a watch, a warning, an emergency. A tornado watch, could be issued for our area heading into tomorrow. That just means conditions are favorable for tornadoes to form. That doesn't mean there's one on the ground. Tornado warning means that's when you got to take action. That's when you got to head to, your basement or an interior room of your house away from any walls or windows. A tornado has been spotted or indicated by radar. That's again when you want to take action. Watch, you just want to be prepared, go about your day. But a warning is when you're like, oh, okay, now I have to act. Now I have to get to my safe spot. Tornado emergency is on the high end. That's when, there could be catastrophic damage, severe threat to human life. Not really expecting that, but certainly could see a few warnings around here. And again, during a tornado warning, the basement is the best place to go. But if you don't have a basement, of course, you want to stay at the lowest level of your home or business, the most interior room you have, whether it's a bathroom or a closet. You want to put as many walls between you and the outside. That's what you want to do. So if you have an interior bathroom that's not, touching any outdoor, those walls aren't connected to the outside, that's where you want to be. And you could, protect yourself with blankets or pillows just in case. But again, like I was saying, it's also going to be breezy as well through the day tomorrow, gusts 30 to 40 miles an hour. So even when we're not seeing any storms, it's still going to be pretty windy outside. But right now, things are looking great for our Sunday. Plenty of sunshine. Seeing a few people going for a nice stroll at the ocean front, a few people on the beach. Temperatures right now, not too bad, a little bit cooler than yesterday by a couple of degrees. We're in the mid to low 60s, a few mid to upper 50s. 60 in Norfolk, 57 in Virginia Beach, 56 in Hampton, 59 in Newport News, 64 in Suffolk, 63 in Elizabeth City, 61 over in Chesapeake. Again, today we could get into the mid 60s for some of us. I think most of us should stay in the lower 60s. 56 in Matthews, 61 in Newport News, mid to upper 60s possible around eastern North Carolina. And then again for tomorrow, some strong to severe storms, especially the afternoon and into the evening. Here's a look at our 7-day forecast. Should get into the mid to lower 70s tomorrow, upper 40s for Tuesday and Wednesday. Look at Wednesday morning, waking up, hovering around freezing. It's going to be a very cold start to the day. But then we see those temperatures returning to normal by the end of the week, especially by Friday. Still a little bit below normal by Thursday in the mid-50s, and then upper 60s pushing 70 by Saturday. But again, tomorrow, just want to make sure you're paying attention to the forecast. Make sure you have a plan if there is a warning issued for your area. And again, maybe you won't even see any warnings at all. That would be the best case scenario for you. You don't want to see a tornado warning or a severe thunderstorm warning issued for your area because, there could be some damage being caused. So it's just a day where you want to be prepared and make sure you know where to go. But maybe, 10 miles up the road, there could be a warning issued for that area, and then 10 miles the other way, a warning issued, but you could be spared, or vice versa. So again, not everybody may see a warning issued, but that chance is there, and it's a pretty good chance that you will see one. So let's go through the futurecast again, heading into our Monday morning. Most of us dry to start off. You're heading off to work, shouldn't be too bad. It's going to be comfortable in the morning, a bit humid, cloudy, mid to upper 60s. What we don't want to see, though, is sunshine. The more breaks we see in the clouds, that will cause the surface to heat up even more and cause the atmosphere to destabilize a little bit more. So the more sunshine you see, the stronger the storms could get, because you heat up the surface and then it's colder aloft, so that heat can rise even quicker and basically makes the storms grow even stronger. So the cloudier we stay, the better. The storms may not get as strong. And also, if we see a few thunderstorms late morning into the early afternoon, that could help stabilize part of the atmosphere. And that second line that comes through in the evening, the actual cold front, maybe not as strong because the storms kind of sucked up the energy from earlier in the day. Still could be potent, but maybe not as strong as it could have been if there weren't any storms at all. A lot of things go on in the atmosphere that makes storms weaker, stronger, make them spin, make them don't, make them have longer, bigger hail. It's a whole lot that goes on. But again, that second line of severe weather will come through heading into the evening. First round, late morning into the early afternoon, I would say between about 11 and 2 o'clock. Then we have a break, 3, 4, 5 o'clock, and then we see that line of storms coming in, which could again be strong to severe. Severe thunderstorm warning, tornado warning issued, possible. And then by around 8 o'clock, the weather starts to improve. Temperatures will start to plummet as we head into our Tuesday morning. And temperatures will be chilly on Tuesday and Wednesday. Very, very chilly. But again, in this line here, could see again what is called a QLCS tornado. Quasi-linear convective system tornadoes. They're good. Well, no tornado is good. But what's better about them compared to, a supercell tornado, which could be possible earlier in the day, is that they're weaker and typically short-lived, but they can spin up with little warning, and that's why it's important to kind of stay tuned to live coverage as the squall line is coming on through. And we'll be live, of course, as it comes through, because we would be anyway, because it'll be in the evening, right? But even if it wasn't, say it was coming through at 3, 4 o'clock, we'll be streaming all day tomorrow to keep you guys updated on the storm potential for tomorrow. Again, for the terminology, a watch just means be prepared. We could see a tornado watch issued for our area. Doesn't mean there's a tornado on the ground. It just means there could be eventually. It just gives you a little bit more awareness of the situation. Warning means take action. Go to the most interior part of your house. Go to your basement. Away from any outdoor walls or windows. So that certainly could be the case heading into tomorrow. But again, it's going to be breezy, gusts 30 to 40 plus miles an hour. That's just from the system itself, not from any storms. Within the storms, certainly could get much stronger gusts, 50 to 70 miles an hour. But outside of any storms, when we're seeing that break, it's still going to be pretty breezy. So that's something you may want to keep in mind. It's not going to be, it's not going to be like a chill day when nothing's going on. It's still going to be pretty windy when we're having that break. We'll take one more look at the 7-day forecast. Again, heading into Monday, late morning through the afternoon and evening, that weather impact alert in place. But by Tuesday, those temperatures really plummet into the upper 40s, low 30s on Wednesday morning. And then by Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we're back into the 60s, at least by Friday and Saturday. Still a little bit below average by Thursday. But at least the rest of the week is looking dry. Not going to have to worry about severe weather for the rest of the week. But really just tomorrow, you have to pay attention to the forecast. Make sure you have ways to get alerts to your phone in case a warning is issued for your area. Of course, we'll be streaming. We're on air all day tomorrow, keeping you guys updated, like on our Facebook pages, things like that, to make sure you guys are aware of what's going on. I'll be in, Craig will be in, Tim and Evan will all be in tomorrow. So we'll be here to make sure you guys are staying safe and that you know what to do in case a warning, again, is issued for your particular area. All right, I appreciate you joining me today. Again, we'll keep you updated through the rest of this afternoon and into tomorrow as well. But remember, by Tuesday, the weather does get much better, cooler, but we won't be seeing any severe weather by Tuesday. Thank you for joining me this morning, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. test. Three, two, one. Happy Sunday, everybody. Meteorologist Hunter Forst here. We do have a weather impact alert heading into our Monday for the potential to see some strong to severe storms. The good news is the rest of Sunday, or at least through the afternoon, not looking too bad. But heading into this evening, we could see a few showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two. But overall, not looking too bad for the rest of the weekend. But let's talk about what we can expect heading into Monday. We're going to see some strong to severe storms rolling on in, I would say late morning into the early afternoon. Then we're going to see a break, and then we're going to see another round heading into the evening. Could see some strong gusty winds, a few storms having some damaging winds as well. Isolated tornadoes, not out of the question. The update from yesterday, or the most recent information, is that we've been upgraded for parts of the area to a level 4 out of 5 risk for severe weather. That is pretty rare for around here. Once in a blue moon, we'll see a level 3. I've seen it around here last season. Wasn't very often, but we did see it, I believe, at least once last year. But a level 4, been here 2 years almost, and have not seen that issued for us here. So it's not a yearly thing to get upgraded to a level 4 threat out of 5. So could see some widespread severe storms in that area. That includes Williamsburg, Franklin, Emporia, up to Richmond, Tappahannock, even Washington, D.C. included in that level 4 risk. Same into Raleigh, North Carolina, and then a level 3 risk for these areas in orange, including Norfolk, Virginia Beach, up into the Eastern Shore, Elizabeth City, and Edenton, all under a level 3 risk for severe storms. So again, damaging winds and a few tornadoes, not out of the question. It's all stemming from this system well off to our west. In the Midwest, bringing a lot of snow up around Wisconsin and into Michigan. They could pick up 2 to 3 feet of snow. And then we're going to have a cold front that'll continue to push off to the east as we head into the next 12 to 24 hours. Cold front right around here, and behind it some much cooler air. You see some snow around Kansas into Nebraska, Iowa, parts of North Dakota as well, and then a lot of snow up around Wisconsin and Michigan, again where they could see 2 to 3 feet. But these storms here could see some severe storms, but it's really the storms that are going to form later on this afternoon along this cold front here. That could be strong to severe for a lot of this region heading into this afternoon and into the evening. A lot of these areas under a level 3 threat, but for us here, some of us under a level 4. Right now, things are looking pretty good. Not a whole lot going on this morning and into the afternoon, but here's another look at the severe threats for tomorrow. Now remember, not everybody is going to be seeing a severe storm. Not everyone will have a severe thunderstorm warning or a tornado warning. You may get 1 in your area. You may even get 2, since we're going to have 2 separate kind of sets of severe weather moving through tomorrow. It's not going to be one line coming through and then it's done. It's going to be some scattered storms late morning into the early afternoon, and then a break, and then a line of storms heading into the evening. So you could see 0, you could see 1, you could see 2 warnings for your area, maybe even 3. But again, not everybody will see it, but if you do, the likelihood of them being severe and damaging is higher than normal. Could see wind gusts 50 to 70 plus miles an hour, and could see an isolated tornado, and they could be strong as well. Could see up to an EF2 or greater in some spots, especially in those areas in that level 4 threat for that severe weather. But again, for the rest of the day today, not looking too bad, mid to low 60s. Could see an isolated sprinkle. But overall this evening, any plans, 6, 7 o'clock, we're in the mid to low 60s still, but temperatures will actually rise overnight or kind of stay where they're at in the mid to low 60s as a warm front approaches. That's where we could see a few more showers, 8, 9, 10 o'clock. We do have a chance for a thunderstorm, a low-end severe threat heading into later tonight, level 1 out of 5. I think most of us should be fine. And then as we head into early Monday morning, a few isolated showers. But, most of us heading off to work should be good. 7, 8, 9 o'clock, we're in the mid to upper 60s. It's a very warm start to the day. It's cloudy. The cloudier it is, the better. The more sunshine we see, then the atmosphere could become a bit more destabilized and allow storms to get even stronger. But still, they will likely be strong. But the more sun we see could, give them a little bit more juice and energy. So late morning into the afternoon, we'll see some scattered showers and thunderstorms pushing on in. This is the first round, I would say between about 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. This is where we could see, could we see a supercell around the area, which is a spinning thunderstorm, a rotating thunderstorm that could produce a tornado, possibly. And then that pushes out, and we see a break between about, 3 and 5 o'clock. And then we see the actual cold front moving in along the 95 corridor around 5. This is where we'll see kind of a line of thunderstorms, more of a squall line. And within this, could see some severe thunderstorm warnings, very strong wind gusts, 60, 70 miles an hour. Also could see a tornado warning, but not really from supercells, more from this squall line here. And that's more called a QLCS tornado, quasi-linear convective system tornado. And these are normally weaker, but they could spin up pretty quickly. But again, not as strong as if it was coming from, a supercell-like thunderstorm. This pushes through between 5 and 8 o'clock, and then the weather gets much better, improves for your late Monday evening into Monday night. So 9, 10, 11 o'clock Monday p.m., things are looking much better. But temperatures will plummet. We will get into the mid to upper 40s on Tuesday and Wednesday. It is a potent cold front, and it's going to drag in some cold air for us here at Hampton Roads, and we'll be waking up, in the 30s Wednesday, low 30s on Wednesday. So here's a look at some of the tornado terminology. There's watches, warnings. Could see a watch issued for our area. That just means, be cautious. The conditions are favorable that a tornado warning could happen, but a watch just means be prepared. If a warning's issued, know where to go, but that doesn't mean, stop all your plans. It just means stay close to the forecast, make sure you're aware that there could be a warning issued for your area. But if there is a warning, that's when you take action. When you get that issued to your phone, it says tornado warning, in this county, in your county, that's where you're like, okay, now I got to go to the basement of wherever I'm at. And if there's no basement, you want to get to the most interior part of your house or business, away from any outdoor walls or windows. We can take a look at that here. If you're home, you have no basement, this bathroom's in the middle of the house, away from any outdoor walls. You want to put as many walls between you and the outside as you can. Lowest level of your home or business, an interior room like a bathroom or a closet. Now, outside of any storms, it's still going to be pretty breezy. When we see those breaks here and there, gusts 30 to 40 miles an hour. So it's still going to be windy as we go throughout the day. But right now, things aren't looking too bad. Our Thompson Creek Window Company Skyview, it's a comfortable day. We're in the upper 50s to low 60s, a little bit cooler than this time yesterday. 61 in Norfolk, 56 in Hampton, 63 over in Elizabeth City. And we should stay in the mid to low 60s for the most part as we go throughout the day. 57 in Matthews, 61 in Hampton. Maybe a few upper 60s around eastern North Carolina. And then again for tomorrow, some strong to severe storms possible as we go throughout the day. 7-day forecast. Tuesday, much cooler, 49 degrees, 33 Wednesday morning. Then we'll get into the upper 40s by Wednesday afternoon. And then we gradually climb into the mid to upper 50s to low 60s by Friday. and then back into the upper 60s by Saturday.